Hi everyone, this is what I read in March. So I read actually a lot of books in March that caught me up to where I have to be in my reading goal this year. So first up is Not in My Book by Katie Holt. This was a 4-star read and it's about Rosie and Aiden. They are in a college English class together and they're fighting all the time, so they're like, okay, write this book together. It's promoted as enemies to lovers, and I'm like, they are not enemies. Like, they're not hurting each other. They're just saying mean things. That's like dislike to lovers. That's my only critique about this book. It was actually really good. And it's actually only in her POV, but I learned a lot about him through his writing that's in there. And so it was really interesting to read that. And then I read the Grip trilogy. The first up is Flow by Kennedy Ryan, which I rated 4 stars, which is about Bristol and Grip. I loved this one. This one was really good, except I just didn't like the ending, of course, but like it made sense to end it where it did. So it was decent. And then Grip by Kennedy Ryan was 4 stars. This was good. There was like some things I didn't agree with, and then it just annoyed me at some points, but yeah. It was good other than that. And that one, Grip, was 4 stars. Still by Kennedy Ryan was also 4 stars. My thing is, this book to me was not as good as the other ones. This one was great. Like, it was still very good. Like, she can clearly write really well. Their love story kind of, like, they were happy and in loving and finished off that in Grip. But then still, you saw them having love the entire book. They had some ups and downs. Like, there's some problems that happened. There was some sadness. Like, there were some really crying moments in this book, which I didn't cry to, but probably should have. But most people cried at certain moments in this book. But, I don't know. To me, after a couple is happening in love, I don't really need to know much more. But this one was still really good. And as I said, I believe it was 4 stars. I would definitely recommend reading this trilogy, but I might go reread it again, I might not. That's what happens with a lot of books. But 4 stars is pretty good for those, to me. To me, they didn't feel like 5 stars. I didn't absolutely love them, but they weren't my worst books. I don't know if I'm going to read this one. That's My Mother by Sari Frankie. I rated this something, but it disappeared. It's like it's not recognizing it on my phone for some reason. So I'm going to have to look what I rated it somewhere else. And so you guys, I think this was either, I think it was 5 or 4. It was 5 or 4 stars. I can't remember for sure. And that's why I normally have it on my phone, but it decided to not have that this time, so I'll just check that later. But this is about Sari Frankie. She was a part of the 8 Passengers YouTube channel. She was the oldest daughter. Well, she technically still is, but it was talking about her childhood and everything to do with it, and it was really good. And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of remember this stuff from when I used to watch their channel. And then I'm like, okay, so I remember this thing happening, and like when I was watching, I didn't think that was right. So I'm kind of glad she's like speaking out about all this stuff, and hopefully she's doing better now. I believe she is, from what the book told me. I love that. I listened to it on audiobook because I was doing a lot of other things and it's easier to read. To me, biographies are easier to read on audiobooks. Just, you hear their actual voice and it kind of sounds better. So, I read Mile High by Liz Tomford. This was a 4-star read. I loved it. It's about Xanders and Stevie. She's a flight attendant on his plane. He's a hockey player. And it was really good. She has a twin brother who he's like friends with. Well, not exactly friends with, but they know each other from the city. And it was really interesting watching their relationship develop from their banter to them actually being like in love. And then was The Right Moves by Liz Tomford. This was 5 stars. It's about Ryan and Indy. Ryan is Stevie's twin brother from Mile High, and then Indy works on the flight that Indy worked with Stevie until Stevie didn't work there anymore, but she works on the flight with that Xander's. Ryan plays basketball, and Indy and Ryan fake date, and it is so interesting because I'm like, he kind of likes her from the beginning to me, and I'm like, oh, he definitely likes her. Love this. And then Caught Up by Liz Tomford, 4 stars. Kai Miller. Miller babysits for Kai's son. Kai plays baseball. They all do some sort of sport. So, and the book was good too. All I really remember is she was like a baker, and he plays baseball. This was the beginning of the month, I swear. Or middle of the month, I don't know. So Caught Up was 4 stars. And then Play Along by Liz Tomford is about Kennedy and Isaiah. Isaiah is Kai's little brother from Caught Up. Play Along was 4 stars. Kennedy works on the baseball team. Isaiah plays baseball. They accidentally get married. And it was so interesting because he loves her from, like, you find out he's in love with her in Caught Up, but she's not. And you find out her story and, like, why she's like, yeah, I can't do this, I can't. And then you, like, see them fall in love, and it's so beautiful. I love this one. I don't know. My favorite in the series probably had to have been The Right Move because that's the one I rated the highest. So I'm assuming that was my favorite, and I believe it was. I've read a lot of books this month, like, and I've had schoolwork, so, yeah. And I'm going on a trip. Okay. I know this, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going on a trip, so I'm going to have to pre-film the week after next's videos. And you guys did not get to pre-film the video when I was on my other trip because I didn't want to film. So, yay. Next up is Wrecked by it's Emily McIntyre. This is 3 stars. So Evelyn and Nicholas. It's a retelling of The Wizard of Oz, I believe. It's from her Never After series. I started this back in 2023. And so, it's not, to me, I started a book that long ago and didn't finish it. Not going to be my favorite. So, yeah. Where did this one? Nothing. Okay. Cowboy Most Wanted by Stina Landenberg. 2 stars. Did not like it. About Violet. And what is his name? TJ. Yeah. It was Alina's POV, and it's written by a girl, and I was so mad. Like, I'm like, just say this. You clearly like each other. Just tell each other. Or was that? Okay, Once Upon a Cowboy by Stina Landenberg. 3 stars. About Jake, Sophia. He's in love with her and she's in love with him and they don't tell each other like the entire time. And it's outside only his POV. So, didn't like that. 3 stars for that. I kept reading the series and I did not like a single one of them. So, you know, I kind of just wanted to read the books because I owned them. And none of them were that good. Fix Me Up Cowboy by Stina Landenberg. 3 stars. About Kate and Noah. TJ, Jake, and Noah are all brothers. She's from Beverly Hills, has an injury, moves to a small town, falls in love with a cowboy. Basic. Kind of good. Better than the other 2. At least this one was dual POV. So, I don't know. I just don't like when it's only in the guy's POV. Like in this one, it was only in the guy's POV, and I just didn't like that. I can deal with it if it's only in the girl's POV, because I understand that. Dual POV, my favorite. When it's dual POV, I always do end up loving the guy parts, though. But when it's entirely in the guy's part, and I just don't get to know the girl, like, at all, I get really annoyed. So that was my March TBR. Bye!